I look at foam core for dealing with models, making models, which is common in architecture, making models that are fun to play with, like this kind of weird ring section, and then also for making complex mechanisms from the design standpoint. So if you want to work out a mechanism that's weird, foam core can be a great thing. An advantage of foam core is it's like cardboard, but it's better. And it's like plywood, but it's easier to work with. So it's kind of the blend of that. Sometime today, hopefully we'll go on the scroll saw. I see the bandsaw is not working right now. So it's very easy to cut shapes. I mean, you just fly it right through the bandsaw and you're done. So it's super easy, and that makes it very accessible. So that's kind of the order. What I wanted to do here, and I'm not sure how visible this would be, like for example, this piece here, which that's a real bad cut, but you can do really kind of weird, complex things. And I was thinking of making that a fuselage for a plane. And, but what I wanted to do, since we're kind of starting from ground zero, was just go over a little bit of foam core. So foam core or foam board often comes in white. You can get it for as little as $1 or as much as, most I've seen is almost $9. So there's a lot of variety. So this one here it's basically paper. It's foam wrapped around paper, and that's all black. You see that's thinner. Usually it's, well, there's different thicknesses, 3 and 5 are common. So these have colored paper on them. And how many of you have tried to paint foam? Exactly. It doesn't. It's not friendly, at least with cure. Right. It will dissolve the foam if you're using rattle cans, and let's use foam safe. So you get the paper on here, so you can actually paint this with spray paint. So that's nice. And one of the things structurally is obviously foam's not that strong. Paper is surprisingly strong. So if I take paper, it's and we'll be bending this in just a minute. There's some resistance for me bending this. Some of the paper I can tear off, like I see I started here. Some of the foam core will facilitate that. Some of it won't. It's hard to take off. If you take the paper off, you have a new window of opportunity because this is easier to work with in terms of bending shapes. So we'll kind of go over some of that. And I'll just pass this around. Don't keep it. Okay, this is not a Christmas ornament you can hang on a tree, and we'll be watching with our video cameras. We have the NSA here this afternoon, as you guys saw. So if anybody steals a foam core, it's on record sometimes. So anyway, so paper on, paper off, and then as far as cutting, those of you who have worked with foam core know the trick is a sharp knife. Right? But I wanted to show you a couple tricks. If it's not a sharp knife, you'll get a lot of pilling of the foam, which if you're in architecture is evil, or precision model building, that nobody likes that. If you're in my world of prototyping and that sort of stuff, we don't care. So it depends on what world you're in. And like when we run it through the bandsaw, like these were run right through a bandsaw. And they're not bad. And we'll hopefully do that today, except our bandsaw is not set up like this. We'll use a scroll saw. So anyway, it's all about a sharp knife. But there's other tricks too. Namely, don't let the purists see this, but you can cut it with scissors, and it doesn't do a bad job. If you look here, you cut that and see how it behaves. So that comes in more handy than not. You can just use regular scissors, you don't need fancy scissors. So that's cutting. Basically, sharp knife is a key, and a straight edge, and just watch your fingers. Okay, the tip of this X-Acto knife can break off sometimes, so don't be weird. You need a cutting mat. Very often, in a maniacal way, I build things. I use scissors over a garbage can. I use saws. If you look at this, you've got a couple saws here. It cuts pretty well. So you just do this over a garbage can and you're in good shape. In fact, I need that. So pretty soon we'll throw all this stuff out. You kind of cut things and have fun with it. So that's cutting. I wanted to go over beveling. I'll do it with this one. And this is kind of boring to watch. So there's a couple ways. Some of this is common sense to make a bend, a fold, like we have with this airfoil shape, or if you're dealing with something architecturally. One way, and I'm going to prattle through this quickly, is to, and I'll show you the easiest way, but it doesn't come up with good results, is you can cut several, if you want to make a soft edge, you can cut through the paper into the foam, but not all the way through. Actually, I'll do this one. And these are about, let's see here. Let's cut this. Actually, this is a good place for a dull knife. So I'm just going to cut through several places. As you can imagine, you can also cut a bevel out of this. That works really well. And then we'll look at crushing the foam. So I can just cut some slits in here. And it bends. Actually, my finish is up. Okay. And you can get a softer bend than you would otherwise. Right? So you can get kind of nice gradual bends. Not a big deal. You can also cut out a 45. I know it's hard to see, but you can, one way, I guess the most common way I do is cut your straight edge the way you want it, and then I do it by eye, and I just do it by eye. But there is a trick where you, whoops, you can lay masking tape down to guide you if you'd like, and you can just cut out this, that's kind of a big one. And it peels off, and I can have a sharp edge like that. Also, you can make 45 bevels on the side, and of course the best way to do this is to work with it. Sandpaper works really well. I don't want to make too much of this, but if you look here, I can get bevels really fast with sandpaper, especially if you tear off the paper. All right? So you can produce bevels that way, 45s, really controllable. You can do it you can do it by hand or a belt sander, so it's really fast. So for example, this one here, this bevel, that it came out differently than what I planned, but I put tape along here. It's hard to see because it's all white to kind of give me a reference point, and I just hit on the belt sander, and you can get bevels anywhere. For me, I do everything like that, okay, as far as this kind of stuff goes. So I'm not measuring 45s exactly, but you can do that. So, yeah. Also, too, if you're real pure, so it's a bit hard to see from the cheap seats back. Actually, this would be cheap. Yeah, cheap right here. One of the things, with foam core, you have an edge of exposed foam. So you can cut a flap of paper, just literally cut the foam out, and then the paper will seal it, or you can use white tape. I saw you have some duct tape back there, so you can use white tape to finish it up as well. So that's a way to finish the edge. Or quick set spackle. Tell me you're a fan of that.
What's that?
The pink indicator. Or the indicator at spackle, you know, have you ever used, somebody used a pink?
Oh, no.
It changes color?
Yeah, it changes color.
Yeah, I use that.
When we do cosplay, I should bring some of that in. And you can put spack like you would for the wall on here. And there's a pink version, and it's not really quick, well, it's quicker. So.
No, it's pretty quick.
But you see it change color, and you know it's right, and then you can sand it. So that's another way to do it too. It's not very physically strong. So this technique is probably the best with the flat paper, but it takes some more precision because you've got to match it up. And then you can trim it with an X-Acto knife. So I don't know if you folks are interested in precision models, like hard edge models for foam core. We're going to look at polystyrene another day, and that's for precision hard edge models. Foam core in my world, as I mentioned, is just quick and dirty stuff, but it's strong. Oh, you can do things with it. Oh, we're doing really good. Okay. And then the trick is, one of the tricks, although I don't like it so much, is just to crush the foam. I don't know if this, okay, this paper does peel off pretty well. If you want to make a bend, you can take something like, I use a screwdriver blade, you can use almost anything, and literally just crush the foam. Okay, like that, and that gives it a decent bend also. The problem with it is it does want to come back, so when you glue this, we'll do hot glue, you just have to be aware of that. All right. So the bevel gives you, in some ways, the best finish. You get a good sharp finish, but it's the hardest to do. Crushing the foam is really fast. If you leave the paper on it, it's more springy. So you can try that. And then, okay, we'll look at gluing. I've got, I had this one kind of warming up. There we go. So for gluing, some people hate hot glue. I am a member of the hot glue cult. All right, we've got a couple members that are, we do have some hot glue cult people. Well, good. Okay. Because there's two types of people in the world, right? There's hot glue devotees and people that hate hot glue guns. Some of us love them. And there's two temperature ranges, high and low temperature. The low will be under 250, the high is over about 380, I guess. Generally, in my world, we use low temp, but if high temp is strong, we have more working time, so blah, blah, blah. That's another, maybe discussion some other day. So these are low temp guns. Those of you who've used hot glue guns, you know the trick is to always have them extras in your pocket. If you have the mini hot glue, because you burn right through them. There's big hot glue guns. I didn't bring ours, but there's some big. I don't know. Do you have one?
Yeah, we have.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
You want to grab it? That would be helpful. Yeah, because that's better than these
They're
things.
so nice.
Yeah, these are
sticks are like this
right.
long.
Right. These are about $5 roughly, so they're cheap.
I think I spent I like the
big one. I think I
precision
said
tape.
Yeah.
$20 on it.
20 bucks? Yeah.
That one.
And they basically last a lifetime. so
Yeah,
it's a good-
as long as you don't break it or drop it,
I think
it'll
we have
last.
two sizes.
How many do you have? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you got three. Oh, great.
We got two big ones and two smaller ones.
Okay, good, we might use those today, because I think we can do things. So anyway, the other way to do it is with polyvinyl acetate, PVA glue, Elmer's glue, all right? So again, geeky to fancy. We often use words to kind of disenfranchise people. So if somebody says PVA glue, you say, do you mean Elmer's glue? Craft glue? You say, yeah. So that does a better job, but of course the problem is if you don't like waiting, you've got to wait. Whereas hot glue
You just
is
use
a
a heat
mechanical grip. Well, yeah, you can put a heat gun on it, but still, that's, yeah.
It's more
You're not a true member of the hot glue club, are you?
Why?
Shut the door.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, PVA glue is, it's water-based, and so it can be heated to help expedite the drying. But you can use that as well, and it's better for the foam, because the foam will get melted by the hot glue, but it's fast. So the best way too is if you, like with these, when you're joining ends together, if you can join the paper to the paper, that'll be a stronger bond than the foam on the paper. So what I'll do here, just really quickly, I'll use that. Now, watching how to glue is almost embarrassingly basic, I guess, so I don't want to spend my time on it. The best way to learn how to use a hot glue gun, if you haven't used it before, is just to use it. It does get hot, it will burn you when you put it in your eye. Sometimes if I'm doing a lot, I'll have a damp paper towel with me if I'm super organized, just to either cool it or cool my fingers after I burn
How
them.
am I supposed to make my contacts?
Contact lenses?
Yeah, you just
Out
take
hot
a hot glue.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Aye, we don't like that. Okay, so I'm going to make a couple. Just look forward. So this will be the world's ugliest building. So none of you are in architecture, so you won't be offended. You are?
I've used this for architecture.
Okay, well don't. This is the world's ugliest building. And I'm just going to put a dollop of hot glue. Just like that. It's safe, it's non-toxic. And just hold it. Depends on how much pressure is on here. You can put tape on it or clamp and all that kind of stuff. So for example, in this one, it takes a while for that to cure. But let's see this time. No, see, I didn't really-
You can blow it so it kind of cools it down a little bit, but you do have to hold it for like 30 seconds or so at least.
30 seconds. That's the magic number. Yeah, it depends a lot on the tension. I wonder how long we just stand here letting glue cool down. Would that be cool? I went to a class and watched glue.
Almost as good as paint
Better than
drying.
if I,
Exactly. That's for another day, though. We'll stir up the paint.
Using small pieces of magic tape too to hold it if you don't have the patience to hold it.
Yes,
I
that's,
use double-sided tape a lot.
yeah, just you can wrap it.
3M tape's nice.
It goes good. Okay. That's for you. Once you're happy with your 30 seconds, you can take the tape off. Yes. Okay, and then, yeah, let's see. Let's look at, I like to do a little bit of carving. And then, what else do I have to do? Okay. Any questions on hot glue?
No.
All right. Great tool.
Could you make molds out of that too? Like how we did in the other?
I know of a guy that makes silicone molds using just RTV silicone. He actually makes silicone molds by using, which is not answering your question the slightest, but it's a similar caulking mechanism. I don't know why you could. I mean, it melts at fairly low temperature. Like for plaster or something.
Well, just making like anything like cast and other things.
But
Like you could
it's
stick the object
Yeah.
in there and then just hot glue over it.
As long as the chemical reaction isn't hotter than the glue's
As long as
Yeah,
it's not got like
because we
hair
did
in it, it's like a
casting.
smooth surface.
Because like cheap casting is a question, because like last class we did casting,
Yeah.
but that was using urethanes and such. Cheap is hard to say. I mean, clay is hard to beat if you just get water clay. Okay, I want to do sanding, before I do the Dremel. So I guess I kind of covered sanding. This stuff's sand, so really you can think of it as easy to use plywood. That's basically what that works out to be. And then we'll do a Dremel, and and you can have a chance to carve. I don't know, let's see, so we have this nice drum here, so put a little burr on it, and this is variable speed. So this is, if you haven't used this type of Dremel, this, and you can do this today if I got enough of this. This locks the collet here. You can tighten that in. And it's variable speed, which is really nice. If you haven't used a variable speed Dremel, it's a nice thing. So actually, I wonder, so this isn't really meant for carving, but those of you who've used like medium density fiberboard or basswood for carving, this is, you can do kind of some things with this. You can also, we'll talk about laser cutter and the CNC router, but you can carve into it. Yeah, this is just that's this for you. Trying to, yeah. Well, this is kind of, I get into the white here. All right, we'll stop there. Not very pretty, but it shows you what you can do. So you can do, not really relief carving, but a form of relief carving. And then I wanted to go on the scroll saw. How would you want to try this?
It is
Yeah.
Ford 520.
What time?
521.
520, okay. Because I kind of wanted to go on the scroll saw and do some stuff with that before we came back here. Because what I wanted to show was this guy right here. This is one of the things I like most about foam core is I can cut it really fast. I can do it with an X-Acto knife, but it's much nicer to do on a bandsaw. So I can cut out some weird shape. Like here I was sort of working on a fuselage. And this would be like part of it. And then I took the strap piece here, and I just cut this out randomly, and I just copied it over here. So actually I can do it with a Sharpie, which I brought with me. I don't have a Sharpie. Behind this table. Oh, here it is, okay. So I can take this and mark out what I want, and then we go to the scroll saw, which is going to be, hopefully not too slow, just have patience for that, but we can, it's funny because I started cutting it at my studio, and I thought, well, let's do it here. So why don't we go over to the scroll saw, and they're very safe. Okay. So let's just cut this. I don't, like I said, if it goes really slow on a scroll saw, I don't. And then I like to do on the okay, that works good. Those of you who use bandsaws probably many of you have. You realize this will ruin your project faster than almost anything else in the shop, right? Yeah, somebody's been there? Like, whoops! So I need to divide this. All right, so that's going to be 11.5 is the center line roughly. I'm going to guess here, I'll go 12 and 12. Yeah, I guess we can try that. 2.5. All right, so what I'm going to do is, just for time, instead of cutting bevels, I'm just going to go ahead and crush it, and we'll see about making at least I'll show you what the fuselage will look like. Now, I'll put the marker on here just so you can see it better. These are the two lines I want to crush, to fold, and actually, I wonder, let me put this puppy back in. Really, these are much better for this. Get these going. Okay. All right, so this is just a quick way to make interesting shapes. So as you can see, if I fold this, I'm going to end up with some kind of funny shape. And when I glue these together, they won't match beautifully at the ends. I'd have to taper those, which I'm not going to do. So there's a part of me. Part of me loves using rubber on this. Maybe we should. No, because I'll hit the metal. I don't think it'll be a pretty picture. So let me do the ADHD version, and I'll just crush it. Okay. Because a lot of times when you're designing, you need speed. Unless you're interested in precision models, which is another day, you want speed because you want to see if your idea has a chance of working before you invest a lot of time in it. So like in our world, we use super glue and accelerant and all that stuff, hot glue guns. Okay. So this kind of bend, and then so I get this interesting shape, which and then you can glue the wing and have the world's ugliest airplane. Actually, that would be a good project. Okay. Because we're small enough to do some hands-on stuff, so let me get that started here. And two things then before we do some hands-on things. This is a little wing. There's lots of ways to make wings, but we've done this for wind tunnel testing, and you can measure. Those of you who are interested in aerodynamics, you do a little tube, holes in there and measure static pressures, and we made smoke with dry ice and water, which was neat, and also, what they usually use is the smoke used in train sets, kind of liquid smoke. But anyway, that's one way to make a wing with a spar. You can use an arrow shaft or something like that, and they kind of fly. You can see it's heavy, it's a power wing, but it's a monocoque construction, so that there's no framework in here. It's an external shell that holds it up. So that's what we'll look at, and then finally, as far as just talking, and then I just offer a summary, this is immensely practical. So if you're dealing with complicated linkages of any sort, or complicated linkages is a good example. Foam core is very good because you can create things and just try stuff and whittle at it, and you can just say, I don't like that. So you take the big saw and you cut things off, and you just, I don't know how this will work. Ooh, I don't like that. Okay. So just... This is better. So you can literally, just experiment with things on the fly. You can cut notches, and you can see, you can use regular scissors, just see what works for you. And I think that's very helpful, because people are very intimidated by this sort of thing. You can make gears out of this as well on a scroll saw. And then I guess finally, you can use the CNC router to cut this. Some foams are safe for laser cutting, which these, I presume, are not. Foam is very combustible, so it smokes like a thing. So if you ever put foam, you'll see it will fill up with smoke really fast.
As soon as we have the laser cutter up and working, once our ventilation system is up, I'm going to have a list of materials of
Okay.
I think black foam.
Black, I don't know.
Because I would trust the white foam, but I would trust the black.
Black foam? Okay, good. And this is a project a student did. It's got some better workmanship as far as they finish the edges better, so that's kind of a good example. Those of you interested in architecture. It's not the greatest, but it's a good example. You see trap elements from this one. And then in summary, before we do stuff, there's a lot of ways to cut this, and it's not really, you don't want to be a zealot. So the right way is an X-Acto knife and a straight edge. That's the traditional way. You can't crush it. Well, that's the bend, I suppose. You can crush it. You can use saws and scissors of various sorts. The band saw is really good. The scroll saw is less good, but it works. So those are all ways you cut foam core. The problem with techniques outside of just pure cutting is you damage the foam slightly when you compress it. It's really good for complex geometry. You can glue with hot glue or Elmer's, PVA glue, whichever you like. You can use tape, but that's not really a permanent fix. Oh, and then also you can make hinges, so for example, I don't want to, like, let's say, I'll need these spars. So you wouldn't do it with masking tape, but it's easier. So I can quickly make a pin. Why don't we do it this way? If you take packing tape and foam core and boom. So then, you have a hinge, of course. Workable hinge if you use packing tape. It's really quite strong. So again, it's part of the mechanical design stuff. So in our world, you saw it last week, I made a molding box out of foam core. So it's a quick go-to. And any questions? Okay. What I thought we could do is build, well, actually the best thing is, let's clear this out. And I thought it'd be fun to build a wing, but I don't know whether we can all do that all at once. But one thing we can do, I'd love for you to practice, and I'll just move this out, just cutting and bending it, so just take some scrap pieces. And this is a good scrap piece. So if we can, let me just, I just want to show it to you this way, because this is for a cosplay deal. And let me just cut this out. How many do we have here? 2, well, you don't know. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Everybody but Jeremy. All right. So you can just take this and mess with it. Try to fold it and bend it. Jeremiah's got cutting mats here. Yes. And then I need a volunteer to do some gluing. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So, let's see, 9, 5. I'll get you some. Okay. So I'm going to move, and hopefully we're at 9. Are we at 9 yet? Does everybody have a piece?
It had to go up. You want to suck it? Dodge.
All right. Who doesn't have a phone piece? Okay. So next thing I do is throw knives at you. So I'm going to put, here, that's actually good. That's sharp. Here's an X-Acto knife. So go ahead and try to make a bend in there and just see how it behaves. And got this. And we don't have, okay, that's a bad one. Oh, you got an X-Acto knife? You got a ruler? Yeah, I got rulers. So go ahead and just I've got a couple straight edges, and you have to share. And then I need a volunteer to glue the fuselage. A volunteer. Just to glue this with
that knife wasn't any good?
What's that?
That knife wasn't any good?
This one might be good. If it pills up, then it's not good.
Okay.
So go ahead and just mess with it. I
I'll glue
don't want it back. Yeah, you want to do it?
Like right now?
Yeah. That should be. Let me see that.
I was thinking.
And if somebody wants to use a Dremel on a piece, they can too. So just experiment, see how it behaves, and then. Oh, and we could do a wing. But I don't. Yeah, we could do a wing, but I don't know how we do a community.
We could all just make a little
I was saying that
Yeah.
the quick version, just smash it down. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, you could just, okay, well, I've got other hot glue guns. Let's get these guys plugged in.
Are you the kind of glue gun person that like puts their finger on it and make it dry faster?
No, I'm not that kind
I totally am.
of. Are you?
Yeah.
We are a member of that cult. All right. To put your finger out? Yeah. You lick on your finger first? I guess I'll do that. All right.
I touched the
Okay.
solder iron on my tongue.
I was going to kind of do a.
How stupid is that?
Yes. Did it burn me?
This is great, all these hot glue guns. I don't know if there's a power strip here on that.
Were you testing if it was hot?
Yeah, because we just have, do you have a power strip? A chance to get bring it near you. This is a good one, it's got 3 outlets.
I got an extra thing for.
Oh, here, there's a cutting spot here too. Get out of the way, I meant to do that. Here, you can work over here or something like that. Oh, I see, yeah, here's a free one. And then, how am I doing it?
It is 5:37.
5:37? Okay. All right, well, let's just experiment with it. If we have time, we can try to do a real quick win. So just have fun, and see how it
My
behaves,
action
just see
shot
the
with the
nature
glue
of
gun.
it.
Huh?
Action shot with the glue gun.
And then I have a Dremel here, you just have to wear safety glasses to use a Dremel. I've got safety glasses.
Beautiful technique.
If it's scaring or being difficult, just use your knife.
Just came out.
Yeah, so your knife is Are you sharing a knife? You want to try it? Okay, you try this and you try that. Okay, so what you can do, yeah, go ahead. Have you used this before?
No.
It's like ours.
You're making a box.
It's just, that's the on-off switch.
Okay.
And that's the
You got
speed.
me. Where's that little saw?
Oh, they're using it over there. But you can,
I'm gonna make a box.
good, oh yeah, oh good. Oh,
Should use a
great.
blade for that.
Yeah, you're right.
Steal one of those.
You're not stealing my pieces.
Blade,
Blade.
not the
You
person.
can have
And then if we plug in the hot glue guns, Jeremiah, well, there's hot glue guns here, and actually, there's some more, I should give you some, I'll cut off some more, I think these are some really- Okay, I'll cut off some more strips of foam core that you can use, which would be easier said than done, because I don't have a knife. Can I borrow your knife for a second? I'm just gonna do it really fast and ugly here. Where's the eye? Okay, so if you need more foam core, I've got some here.
some yellow.
Yep, let me just- Yeah, I'm gonna cut this and then.
These are the exact ones I use.
Okay, there we go, thank you. So here's some foam core, you're welcome to use it, you want one of these? And you can cut more from here if you'd like. And you can make up some little project, because I'd love for you to try the hot glue gun. You never-
Try the quiche. Stay a while.
And what's interesting is you get to be the first ones to use hot glue guns. These hot glue guns. Okay, you're doing the fuselage? Okay, you got your own knife, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're done with the big one. Okay, there's this cool now.
Keep going.
Oh, okay. Oh, we got more knives. Do you need more knives?
Use your
over
knife
there,
to cut?
Marsha? Sharp, actually sharp knives? Oh, just cut on the cutting mat. though.
Will,
Yeah, make sure you don't cut into the workbench.
I didn't do that right. We can't make it.
There's a,
That was supposed to be straight.
It's okay.
oh, okay, great. We have another spot.
There's another spot to work.
And I was saving these.
As long as you don't cut yourself, it's okay.
Save these guys. Yeah, so there's plenty of hot glue guns, there's some extra outlets, so you can build some microfiber. And there's more foam core, as I mentioned, bigger panels, if you like. Tape. Actually,
No, you like screws?
oh, for the,
A scissor.
oh, for the, yeah. How many you want? You can just have it.
So I just, a version of it.
Not through the mycin. You were thinking, because usually you use like that, right, that cruise track, or some of those things, that's often how you make hinges. Oh, it's just machine. Yep, and I just drill holes in, and you can actually punch them.
Does it have the whole thing? That was the weakest. Compared to myself.
Hold it back.
Another X-Acto knife.
Oh, another X-Acto knife, so we're rich in knives, sharp knives. Okay, right? Right here. Yeah, you want to cut a drum? Okay. I need to see your driver's license, social security card, and $20. Where are my safety glasses?
Right there under the yellow.
Oh, yeah, don't grab that, just put those on. And you want to just be mindful of your hair, or you'll get close to it. the safety bars. And then this is the on-off switch right here, and this is the speed. So I just put that forward, and I can go fast or slow. Okay, there you go. And you can even carve it. Yeah, just have fun with it. And you kind of use it like a pencil. You can actually hold it like a pencil if you'd like. Whatever works for you. It doesn't carve. You'll see how it behaves.
Okay.
And normally you say let the machine do the work, but in the case, it depends on your speed and what you're dealing with. Sometimes on those you have to push it. And the paper, once you cut through the paper, it cuts through the paper. Oh, you can the microbot. Oh, sharp knife? Yes, yes. The problem of the class of it is you really Oh, you do it right?
Yeah, I just didn't run all over. I just wanted the extra paper. Find something blue too.
Oh, yeah, there you go, peel it off. Because foam's not a real strong surface.
Winner.
Oh, there you go, the big W. Oh, there you go, nice. Yeah. And see, if you wanted to have an exterior piece, you cut bevels in there, each one of those, a little, like a slit, basically, not a 45, a thin slit. And you separate them by like that much, maybe, 1/8 of an inch.
These half of guns, oh yeah, it's dripping.
And you get a nice smooth curve. On the outside.
You say it was dripping on the table?
Yeah, the hot glue gun.
Yeah, you should.
There's more foam. Oh, it's over there.
I got it.
Yeah, it should be hot, so when I do these, just make sure it comes out before you put it in the piece.
It is.
Just make sure, yeah, it comes out.
Is this green one on over here?
I think that's what it is. Yep. But yeah, it's never been used, and there's sticks right here. Yeah.
There we go.
And help yourself with sticks. Oh, there's other trees too. Nice thing with this is you can stack them up, and if you're doing a weird shape, with the bandsaw you can cut them all at once, because it's so easy to cut. You can cut, well, many of these at one time. Oh, nice. So that's the case where you put spackle
Yeah, roll it on
in
the table.
spots and then sand it down.
That's not done
Rolled it on the yellow.
Paint it.
It's not done yet. I need to glue one more side. I just gotta hold it. One more side. Oh, it came loose. Yeah, see, I just gotta hold it.
Just fill the inside with that.
I should. I really should.
Give it some weight.
Make a cone over there.
Yeah.
Dunce hat?
Come on. Dry already.
Yeah, I like to use Windex
Do you
on,
really?
on hot glue when I'm gluing plastic pieces together. The ammonia helps it dissipate the heat faster.
Really? I've never tried that.
I just put my finger on it.
Yeah, well, I'll use damp paper towel, but isn't that funny, all these different techniques? Again, another session we'll do polystyrene, which is, we can explore some other things there too.
It's a crappy design, but it's fast prototyping.
I'm making 100 more.
Oh, you're making a whole...
No, hold on.
How'd the Dremel go?
Roll it on the table.
You ever use one?
It's not the best.
Yeah, this one's really hot, so be careful.
This is not the best.
Yeah, looks like the
This is
lantern.
too, chunky, it breaks out, but just, you can do some scoring with it.
Made of weight.
Well, Dremels are very good, we do plastic.
What'd you make?
He made nothing.
I made a...
He made nothing.
I mean, what?
He made nothing.
Are you dissing another maker's making?
Of course.
You want to make this outside? You want to make this outside?
Worst of all, like polystyrene.